It's like I'm going to be the director, so to speak, okay? And I know what I did today, I just let the hair dry naturally. And we washed and let it dry. I didn't do anything really with it. We just want to see how we're doing. Anyhow, I wanted to get on here and talk to y'all about being less predictable, because that's exactly what we're doing right now. Okay, so let those notifications go out, and I've been out and about today, just kind of like doing our thing, and also trying out different theories and what have you. Whoa, yeah, okay. I'm gonna try not to do that again. We'll try not to drop the phone. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna hold it right there and let y'all, if I can see the comment, then I will catch them as they come in over here. If I don't catch the comment there, I'm gonna go over here. But let those notifications go out. We're gonna talk about chosen one becoming less predictable, how to become less predictable, because it's a simple fact that is what you got to do. And I understand that if you work a 9-to-5 job, okay, if you work a job that set hours, it is a little bit more challenging to do that. However, when you're not at work, there are things you can do to become less predictable. I know you got to watch the clock for certain things, but again, let me go ahead and do some checking real quick on how everything is going. And listen, okay, it really is it really is something else when you start to learn and you see that the everything is going. There we go. All right, now I want to see how this is looking out, because see, remember, I've got a protective, yes, hey there, I see your comments over here, and if I catch them when they come in on the other device, I'll catch them, but I'll monitor both ways. But I am doing something completely different here as far as holding the phone rather than have it up on the dash there, and just to see if that will curtail anything. Like I said, I don't know how long we're going to be up here doing going with this live. I just want to talk for a few minutes about being less predictable and what God got on my spirit regarding that. Meaning, part of purging that subconscious is unlearning a lot of what the Matrix told us about that clock. Yeah, we got to stop letting that clock dictate what time we eat. Remember, I got up here not long ago and I talked to y'all about that. The importance of, don't put heavy burdens on your digestive system. And there's something else that God revealed to me today, is that you do not have to eat food when you take a multivitamin. Think about it. What does the devil want to do? He wants your body to consume excessive salt, which will slow down your body's natural biological processes. And so if you're eating food every single time you take a multivitamin, that's why I said that just does not make sense to me anymore. I said this multivitamin has B vitamins, it has all the stuff in it that my body supposedly needs. So why do I need to eat in order to take that? Because we were led to believe, the biggest lie of all with that was that if we don't eat when taking a multivitamin, if we don't have food with it, that somehow that's going to upset our stomach. No, it doesn't. Tried and true. It does not. You got to stop thinking it. See, that's the thing. Spiritual battle for the mind. It's all about what you think. So if you think that the multivitamins are going to upset your stomach if you don't have food, then that's what's going to happen. Yes, welcome to the acorn land. All right, as the acorns do fall every once in a while on the vehicles, nothing I can do about it. But you got to remember that, yeah, there's a lot of lies we have to unlearn. And that was one of them. So anyhow, aside from that, being less predictable, y'all. In other words, if we go to the store, right, do yourself a favor. If you got to go to the store on the weekend, okay, if you got to go to the store on the weekend, and you typically would, for whatever reason, you have this routine or this habit, okay, of going, let's say around 2:30 or whatever, right? And so the devil knows, oh, you're going to be at this store at this time on this day. Then that's when he knows to try and attack. So this is why you got to learn to be less predictable and not be watching that clock like that. Now, I understand if you have an appointment or you have somewhere you have to be, because we all have those, right? I mean, y'all book a session, that's an appointment. I get it. But what I'm talking about is where possible. For example, yesterday, okay, it was a great day for me to just go, you know what? I had laundry to do, and so we did a faceless live yesterday to still get up and give y'all a brief message. And being less predictable, I did not allow the clock to dictate what time I did what. No, see, that's how we do it. So for those of you, that may be a weekend day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday. All right, those of you who do the Monday through Friday, don't let that clock dictate when you're going to do something. Yeah, and exactly. If you become so routine, that's how the narcissist. Thank you, Chris. That is how the evil spirit can monitor you. Is if you are extremely predictable with the things that you do. Right, so you got to switch it up a little bit. You know how I talk a lot about that? How God says, oh, we're going to switch it up. God says we got to switch it up a little bit. Because we cannot continue to become so predictable, because that's what the devil wants. Think about a lot of the narcissists that we've talked about, right? How they become so predictable. Okay, and I can feel that the phone is getting a little bit warm, so what we're going to do is this. I'm still working on another solution, you all, but I'm going to go ahead and open that. You might hear some outdoor traffic or what have you for a few minutes, but I need to let some of this heat out. And so in the meantime, you know, you might, like I said, you might hear some background, but I got to figure something out. So I appreciate y'all's patience and understanding as we do this. We're trying to come up with a solution so that we can do more lives in the vehicle without losing connection there, or without things getting frozen up in the middle, and then y'all leave and got to come back or what have you. So, and it is a busy highway behind me, so if you hear the traffic, it is what it is. And so if I can leave this open, let some of that cool air in, that's what we'll do. But yeah, I know, whenever you have, okay, if you have identified a narcissist, right, and they complain, oh, okay, so you've had narcissists complain about not being able to stalk you, because you don't have a routine, and they claim that it's not fair. Well, see, that tells you right there. Narcissists need to, right, yes, we are live from Florida. Okay, yeah, so you've had narcissists actually tell you that. I'm not surprised. Yeah, see, only a narcissist would say that. Only a narcissist would say it's not fair because you don't have a regular routine, so they can't stalk you. They can't monitor you. See, that's the thing about monitoring spirits, too, y'all. You got to be mindful of that. Being less predictable. So don't let the clock dictate how you do things, when you do things, okay? And if you do certain things, like, for example, when I go on my morning walks, yeah, I don't go at the exact same time every morning. No. In fact, sometimes I don't even go until around what they consider lunchtime. It just depends on the day. It depends what else I've got going on. But it also depends on what time I get up. I'm not going to sit here and let the clock dictate. You know, now I will deliberately to switch things up. If I went on a walk, let's say around 9 a.m. one morning, okay, I'm going to remember that. And then the next morning when I get up, let's say, okay, well, we're gonna wait another 30 minutes or so. Switch it up. We'll go at 9:20 or something like that. But we don't want to be so predictable that the enemy knows when to attack. That's really the point right there. Yeah, you don't want to be, because they'll try to stalk by approaching, to gather info. Well, that's what we call breadcrumbing. Okay, a narcissist will approach people that breadcrumbing. Yeah, and it is a form of stalking, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, that's what trying to get info about you, because you're not being so predictable. So they want that information because they want to be able to use it as ammunition to abuse you later. That's a big part right there. Yeah, it is called breadcrumbing. That's what they do. And I've seen them do it in the workplace too. Like customers that come in and they're doing the bidding of a narcissist that works there. Right, and they'll come in and they'll talk to you about that narcissist, trying to get you to say something about them. That's called breadcrumbing. Okay, they breadcrumbing. They're trying to get you to spill the beans, or to see if you'll gossip or say something bad about the other person, the narcissist that they're trying to. Yeah, it's also a form of triangulation, right? So being less predictable is the best way to be. Yeah, you don't want to be so predictable that the enemy knows when to attack, and that includes online as well. I've learned this one. Absolutely. I have learned this one. That if I'm going to do something at a certain time, that, online, a particular activity, I got to switch it up. This is why we learned. I'm telling you, I like to check into the academy, and we're getting better at doing that a bit more regularly, but it has to be at different times. Now, I can't do it at the exact same time every morning because that becomes predictable. And digital demons do like to hide in the background and like try and play havoc with not allowing me to log in or whatever it is. Okay? And so I have to wait a little bit and then go back to it. It's kind of one of those things where, oh, I see. Because you got to remember how this works in the spiritual and the physical, right? You got to remember there are digital demons out here too. It's not just these narcissists and them. No, it's all over the place. I mean, it's in the online world, absolutely. Because if you're trying to do something online, that's what I was just talking about. That they can monitor even online routine. This is why when we get up here and go live, I would normally say this is the let's just chat. But you know what? Sometimes it's going to be a regular live, but it would be a let's just chat because it really is. However, it's got to be a different time, between 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, Wednesday's still a toss-up. I could be on IG, Instagram live, and then you never know, TikTok is in there now too. So I don't know. It's a toss-up. If I'm not on YouTube, if I'm not on this YouTube channel live on Wednesday, and I haven't given y'all a notification that we're not going live, then I'm going to be on IG or TikTok. So you'll have to kind of figure that out. You'll know. Those of you who are following this ministry across platforms. And for those who would like to know what other platforms we are on, you can do so by visiting CHA's social media platform link in the description below. That will take you to the My Social page of the website. And you will have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, and the rest, okay? And so we are trying something new today. We are holding the phone so we can kind of monitor, like, as the phone getting warm and things like that, as to how we're going to go forward in an effort to live for y'all a bit more in this capacity, but with a way to keep the phone cool enough so we don't get interrupted. And so it looks like opening the door every once in a while to let some cooler air in and the hot air out. Okay, because I noticed that it will do that. If I have it up there on the dash and I'm not, monitoring anything. So, like I said, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So you might hear some occasional outdoor noises and things like that. It is what it is. But you got to be less predictable if you don't want the enemy to try and mess with you. Remember, the devil, he has head games. That's it. That's all the devil has is head games. And so you learn to be less predictable. And you don't do things so routine. So if it's a typical day for you to be out and about, okay. If it's not, then, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out. You just got to keep tabs. Don't walk on eggshells. Good Lord, no. Don't be walking on eggshells. Remember, God said, do not fear, okay, and be not afraid. There's no reason to be afraid. It's just you got to learn to be less predictable. And being less predictable simply means don't be too daggone routine. Outside of work, that is. For those of you who have a job where it is pretty routine, then, it is what it is. And then there's some of y'all that work. I know when I was delivering pizzas, it was not routine. It was, oh my gosh, yeah, never mind. It was all over the place. I would close one night and work a 4-hour shift the next day, and then the next day I would open. So, yeah, that was definitely not predictable. But we do need to learn to be less predictable, chosen one, because that way you give the enemy less opportunity to try and attack, try to play head game. And you give his minions, the narcissist, less of an opportunity to breadcrumb, less of an opportunity to try and triangulate. Right? So you give them all less of an opportunity to do anything. to be all up in your beeswax. You know what I'm saying? Narcissists are busybodies. They got to be all up in everybody else's business, right? And so you become less predictable by not allowing the clock to dictate what time you're going to do something. Now, this is outside of appointment. This is outside of that job. This is outside of things that are scheduled for structure and things like that. We're talking about unlearning allowing the clock to tell us when to eat, right? Tell us when to go somewhere. Tell us when we need to do this and that. Again, outside of appointment and so on. Okay? It's to be less predictable where possible. That's the point right there. Being less predictable where possible. And so, yes. Okay. Okay, so they got you on late shift all next week from 3 p.m. to 9:30. Okay, wow. Okay, that's definitely different. But I think you and I both know that that's part. You and I both know that the enemy trying to play with you. All right, the enemy's trying to play with you. All right, the enemy's trying to play with you because the enemy knows you like to attend these live streams. And the enemy knows that I'll live stream typically early on. But thank you for the heads up, because that will allow us to switch things up a little bit as well. So, well, you'll be all right. You'll be all right, because we know that. Wow. Yeah, we know that. You know that narcissists do that with their mufflers, right? Because they trying to get attention. That's why they do that. Anyhow, and I know you can always catch it on the replay and stuff like that. But let's see. Well, okay, hold on a second. Oh, you know what? Yeah, but that's all right, because what did I say about my live streams, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, of course, Saturdays, you know, the Bible study is not until 4 p.m. anyhow. So, I can change things up as well. So they can try and mess with y'all however they want to mess with y'all. You're still going to get the message one way or the other. You're still going to get the message one way or the other. Because God's going to make sure that you do. God will make sure that you get the message. That's it. Bottom line. We ain't playing around. Not playing around. Not playing around at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. So, yeah, and like I said, I wanted to get on here and give y'all this. How to be less predictable. And that really is the big one right there. It's simply by not allowing the clock to dictate when you're going to do something. And then especially not allowing the clock to tell you when you're hungry and when you're not. That's a big one right there. For example, I didn't go and get myself any kind of lunch until about 2:30 p.m. today. Let that sink in. Because I just wasn't hungry. I was not hungry. So, and I see y'all commenting coming in. So, yeah, just go with the God flow. Okay? Yeah, go with the God flow. Go with the God flow. And never forget that narcissists out here, they'll do all these things to try and get attention. And so that's another thing. Why we got to be less predictable is so that we don't give them an opportunity to come and try and seek our attention. You know, try to get our attention. Okay, that's a big one right there. Because once they can get our attention, then that interrupts whatever it is that God had us working on, right? Of course. Of course. And that is classic. That's exactly what they want to do. Remember, narcissists like to sabotage. So they want to try and sabotage whatever it is that we're trying to work on and get done. So of course. But we learn to be less predictable. And so let's say, okay, a good example is if you live in a neighborhood or apartment complex or whatever, and you've noticed that there's some monitoring spirits. Yeah. So we learn to switch things up. Okay, we learn to switch things up so that they can't monitor us so easily. You see, that's the other thing. That's the other reason why it's so important to learn to be less predictable, is by not allowing yourself to get so comfortable, because being so routine like that is part of a comfort zone. That comfort zone, remember, God says, no, we got to take that leap of faith. We can't be living in a comfort zone, chosen one. You got to step out of that comfort zone. Take that leap of faith. For some of y'all, God's waiting to see you do that. Okay? And so part of it is to become less predictable so we do not develop a comfort zone, because a comfort zone is stagnant. Nothing grows there. And, well, yeah, I mean, when you think, right, you got to be able to think. You got to be able to co-create with our Creator. Got to be able to work out that salvation with the Heavenly Father. And how you going to do that if you're all the time? Remember how we used to always be pulled in every direction possible, right? Yeah, because of the narcissist. Okay, there you go. Good job. Good job. Just ignore them. If you notice a monitoring spirit trying to get your attention and you learn to ignore them, ignore them. Noisy, okay, as far as the noisy mufflers and stuff being legal, it depends on the jurisdiction, okay? Some states, some cities, it just depends. It depends on the location. Yeah, it depends on location. So there's some states no, some states don't care. And then for that matter, it can even be a city thing. So it is what it is. We don't, right, I'm not going to allow it to, stop us from doing what we're doing. I can get me some water here. But, well, that depends also. Okay, if there's an HOA, if they're trying to go through an HOA that has a noise, let's just say they have a noise ordinance thing or whatever, they'll get in trouble in HOA. So, that being said, we can talk all about narcissists and noise, because that's all they're about, right? That's all they want, but they just love to make noise. They love to make noise because that gets them attention, right? That gets people's attention off of whatever it is they're doing and onto them. It gets people talking about them. So there's another thing. All right, y'all, just be less predictable, okay? Becoming less predictable is very important. And I want to say a huge thank you for all y'all that give these videos a thumbs up, and to everybody who has pledged service grant, and to all who will continue to do so. Thank you. Everything, again, that you all sow into this ministry goes right back into the community. In fact, we are, as we are coming up with a solution to keep the phone from getting too hot to live stream in the vehicle once again in this particular state. Like I said, I found out part of the reason is because of the heat index that's on the inside of this car before I even get in the car. Because where I used to live in North Carolina, my car used to sit underneath a carport, which means that inside my car, the material, the seat, the dashboard, everything that was in here, okay, it was not already heated up. Whereas when I get in the car here to come on out and then decide to go live and what have you, after I've already done a few videos, whatnot, I decide to go live. And what happens is, because the inside of my vehicle is already so hot from sitting in the parking lot, I have no shade, no cover for the car there. What happens is that everything inside the car will get hot a lot quicker. And so live streaming tends to use a lot of the device's juice, the battery, and a lot of things. When you live stream, it tends to use a lot. You think of a computer, right? And how as you're using it, how the fan kicks in. Okay, well, these devices here don't really have that kind of a fan. So so when it gets hot, it's going to automatically, right, dark plastic do get hotter and hotter quicker. And so that's exactly what we've got going on in here. The inside of my car is, as you can see, dark gray. So, yeah, and everything gets a lot warmer, a lot quicker. And then you have to think about me talking, okay? Bit of hot air coming out of there, right? Yeah, I couldn't resist. But that being said, I can already feel this phone warming up a bit, so we're good there. Right. The mobile phones do not have that cooling mechanism that a PC does. Okay, so you have to kind of remember that as well. So I think we found one solution, and that is to be doing what we're doing right here as I open up the car door periodically, as long as we have shade. Okay, so there's one that we have so far, so good, as far as being able to prevent a interruption, so to speak. But I can feel the heat, in the back of the phone, and so that's why I was like, I open it up, let the heat out of the car, and so that kind of gives it a little bit. And so we're going to continue to work on some additional solution. All right, we'll figure something out. We are problem solvers. Chosen ones are problem solvers. And so there you go. A quick about half hour for you all. Remember, become less predictable. I want y'all to drop it in the comments below, even on the replay, okay? But no, a bag of ice on the back of the phone would not work. Nice try, but no, that would have nothing but a mess inside this car, and we're not going to do that. I could just see it, but no. But I want y'all to drop it in the comments below if you can think of some other ways to become less predictable. All right, let's help each other out. Iron sharpening iron, just like God tells us to do. All right, so everybody just, go ahead on the replay. And thank you for giving these videos a thumbs up, so more of our fellow spiritual warriors for Christ will get the message. Okay, you all enjoy the rest of your Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is, morning, evening, night, wherever you are. And we will be back here with you all. Yes, okay, back here with you all at some point. You know it. We're going to, like I said, we are working on different things on what to do so that we can go live and hopefully be able to go live longer while in the vehicle with you all. Because I want to be able to take y'all on road trips with me. And so I need to figure out how we're going to do that and be able to still keep the phone cool. So we're working on it. So thank you for your patience and understanding. And I will get to y'all. If you're waiting on responses to your comments, questions, whatnot, I'm going to get to you. Thank you for your patience about that too. And as always, I am sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.